Okay, so we're talking about our loyalty to our own creations. So let's start on this. Let's start on this is the first step on that journey home, is to take ownership. Take ownership of our feelings, of my feelings, and this is a big one as well. Accepting your feelings can't leave you. Your feelings are locked inside you, and even if you pierce that bubble, them feelings don't flow out like your blood does. Them feelings are locked inside you and don't travel out. You can't. Anger won't cross the room to get someone across the road or across the room because you are angry with them. You may pick something up and throw them. You can throw a projectile. You can shoot them. You can scream and shout. You can demonstrate your anger. And yes, the missile or the projectile will leave you. The bullet will leave you. They will hear. They will know. They can be aware that you're angry. But your actual anger doesn't leave you. That stays in here and gets stronger. Every time a feeling is expressed, it gets stronger or weaker and goes back in. That's what they all do. Whether it's love or peace or joy or gratitude, whether it's anger or sadness, whether it's hatred. Every time we it's like opening a box. I see this it's almost like a incense. It only takes a little spark. It only takes a little spark, and that can produce a lot of smoke. So a little bit of a tiny bit of anger placed in our creative center, our mind and anger. And then this anger can come out and it can overwhelm us, and we can stay angry for minutes, hours, days. We can what's called stew in our own juices. That anger can go round and round and round and round. Or the sadness. We can get caught up in sadness for lifetime after lifetime. Something can come along and we can go down, and it can be paralyzing. This sadness can be paralyzing because we cling to the loss of a loved one. Now, the thing is, we can also cling to that loved one in love. We can cling to that loved one in love. But we need an element of trust. We need an element of trust to let go the clinging to the loyalty in the darkness. And that's an issue for us all. The trust that this love and light and peace and joy is there. Because life has shown us through the ups and downs of life that this happiness doesn't last. Loved ones die and leave us and withdraw love, and the happy ever after picture that we build turns into a nightmare for some. There's nobody gets through this journey of life without going down. No matter what they tell you, no matter what they look like, no matter what story they tell you or what they show to the gallery. People play to the gallery and they put on a show for the world. We all do it. And then you come back into your own space and your own reality. Your true persona comes out behind closed doors, and more importantly, your own truth comes out behind closed eyelids. When you are alone with yourself, your truth that only you know. Your loved ones or your family around you may not know what's going on in here. And you may not know what's going on for them, because this is personal stuff. We don't go around carrying flags saying, I'm scared. But we all touch on fear. And the ego relies on a thing called pride. The ego relies on this stoic British stiff upper lip, this type of, sorry, I don't mean British, I take that back, this stiff upper lip, don't show your feelings, keep up a good front. The ego relies on that. The ego relies on men to be men, and women to be women, and to carry their cross and bear their sufferings and all this type of stuff, because that keeps us from changing. That keeps men from being soft. If you publicly express an emotion, you're somehow less of a man. You are showing a vulnerability, and you're actually showing a strength. To be vulnerable is weakening the ego. This is from a spiritual point of view. This is a spiritual point of view. In order for you to actually make the transition or start the journey, vulnerability has to be embraced. To allow yourself to be vulnerable, just to let love in. Just to let love in. We need to crack the hard shell. Sorry, it's to let love out, not love in. But from a human point of view, we have to be vulnerable in the company of other humans, to allow that hard shell to break. It's the same. This is life growing. Everything starts off as a cell, a seed. A human being starts as an egg, and the sperm breaks that membrane. A seed pops, and a little shoot comes out of it. An egg cracks, and a bird comes out of it. Everything, even birth, the waters break. Now I'm doing that, but I was never done it. The waters break, and the baby comes out. So there has to be an expansion. There has to be a crack. There has to be a break for the growth to come to continue. Growth continues. It doesn't start. It only continues. So the vulnerability is a step along the way to let go, because we cannot embrace spirituality when our hands are full with our humanity, and we cannot embrace spirit when our hands and mind is busy holding up the facade and the protection and the hard shell and the front of our ego. Something has to give. Something will give. Now, this can be hard or not. You can make the choice. You don't have to do it the hard way. You can make the choice. You can another way of saying it, sooner or later, whether it's this lifetime or 100 lifetimes down the road, sooner or later, all beings will return to oneness. There's this is for another talk. It's not about today, but in actual fact, we've never left oneness. We're all still there. we are still, how they said, we're dreaming. This is all an illusion. But that's another talk. That's down the road. So, what road, you may say? The road is an illusion. So, yes. So, taking responsibility and vulnerability are the steps we need to take to allow to loosen our grip and to allow growth, allow change to happen. So looking at, anyone can do this, but looking at your journey, your life journey, and the ups and the downs, and the pitfalls and the pain and the hurt that's got us to here. Now, okay, I'm aware that there's plenty of beings, of human beings on this planet who have no emotions. They've cut off. They are in the head. They are solely in the head, and they're focusing on, their human material happiness or goals or life or whatever. And so this is not for them. These talks is not for them until it is. Until one day a wave comes and knocks them off their feet, and then they will seek for something else. And when you seek for that something else, it will be presented to you. There's more to this world than meets the eye, and so when you are ready to hear truth will be presented to you. You can grasp it and take it on board, or you can ignore it, and it'll be presented to you again and again and again. But once you seek, and you send out that cry from inside, once you seek, you will find. And that's all it takes, is that cry from inside. What's the word? It's actually not a word, it's silence. There's a silent cry. There's a silent cry that we make when we're crying inside, and something resonates. Something resonates with the outside, with God, with Buddha, Allah, whoever, Krishna, whoever your creative, the source, the universe, whatever word you put onto this creative life force that's keeping this whole thing going. There's something inside of you at a certain stage will trigger a return home. When you've had enough. Again, I'm aware of the time, so I will continue this in a few minutes. And so now you know, you can't say no one told you.